ॐ दक्षिणास्य समारम्भा शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमा अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्ता स्मर्या गुरुपरम्परा श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानाम् आलयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादं शङ्करं लोकशङ्करं शङ्करं शङ्कराचार्यं केशवं बादरायणं सूत्रभाष्यकृतौ वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः ईश्वरो गुरुरात्मेति मूर्तिभेदविभागिने व्योमवद्व्याप्तदेहाय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। परिज्ञानाश्रम श्रीगुरुशङ्कर परिज्ञानाश्रम शङ्कर सद्गुरु केशववामन कृष्ण पाण्डुरङ्ग आनन्द परिज्ञान गुरु सद्यो जात शङ्कर सद्गुरु गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णु गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरुः साक्षात् परब्रह्म तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यङ्करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। पार्थाय प्रतिबोधितां भगवता नारायणेन स्वयं व्यासेन ग्रथितां पुराणमुनिना मध्ये महाभारतम् अद्वैतामृतवर्षिणीं भगवतीम् अष्टादशाध्यायिनीम् अम्ब त्वामनुसन्दधामि भगवद्गीते भवद्वेषिणीम् यं ब्रह्मा वरुणेन्द्ररुद्रमरुतः स्तुन्वन्ति दिव्यैस्तवैः वेदैः साङ्गपदक्रमोपनिषदैः गायन्ति यं सामगाः ध्यानावस्थिततद्गतेन मनसा पश्यन्ति यं योगिनः यस्यान्तं न विदुःसुरासुरगणाः देवाय तस्मै नमः। So in the last session, we completed the fourth chapter of Bhagavad Gita, which is called as the Jnana Yoga or Jnana Karma Sannyasa Yoga. Now, what was the summary of this chapter? Very briefly, we'll go through the summary. Here, in the first 8 verses, Lord Krishna spoke to Arjuna about what is the nature of avatara. He introduced himself as Bhagavan Lord Narayana himself, who has appeared by his own free will, managing his Maya, that is his power or his Shakti Maya, and appearing in a certain name and form for the sake of a particular purpose. And Krishna said that he has come like that. Avataranam, I have explained in detail all about Avataranam, the differences between a jiva coming down into a body, mind, sense complex and Bhagavan coming or appearing, manifesting as an avatara. What is the difference? It has already been told very in a detailed manner in the 4th chapter when we talked about the avatara vichara. And so first 8 verses, Krishna talked about the nature of the avatara, the nature of his manifestation, the purpose of his manifestation as Krishna in this particular avatara. All those things were talked about in the first few verses. Then Krishna straight away went to Jnana Yoga. What is this Jnana Yoga? Krishna wanted to make it very clear to Arjuna that ultimately the release from the ocean of samsara, ultimately the release from bondage, what we call as moksha, is not by any action or any karma. It is only through the Atma Jnanam, the knowledge that Aham Akarta Abhokta Atma Iti. And for that, the most important verses that Lord Krishna talked about were the 18th verse, where he talked about Karmani Akarmayaha Pashet Akarmani cha Karmayaha. That means the one who is able to see non-action of the Atma in and through all the activities and in and through all the actions done by the Anatma body mind sense complex. This is a person who has really seen the nature or the Swarupam of Atma to be a Karta. And in spite of the Anatma thinking that it is not doing anything, even if the Anatma is sitting quietly, keeping quiet, activities are still going on. So, at the level of Anatma, there is no question of inaction anytime, but as Atma, I am always, forever an Akarta. That means understanding that I, the Atma, am not the doer. And who's the doer? The Anatma body, mind, sense complex, transacting with the Anatma Jagat outside. This is what is called as the action. And as the consciousness Atma, I have nothing to do with whatever action or its phalas or its results which are happening as a consequence of the interaction or the transaction between Anatma body mind sense complex and the Jagat. And ultimately, he told Arjuna that this is the final knowledge. It is only with this knowledge, Atma Jnanattu Eva Kaivalyam, that is, understanding I, the consciousness, to be Akarta, Abhokta, Nitya, Shuddha, Buddha, Mukta, Atma, and I have nothing to do with anything that happens with Anatma. This knowledge alone will actually free me from the bondage of samsara. But it at the end, he wanted to prove that, or Krishna wanted to make it very clear to Arjuna that ultimately this Jnana Yoga, what is called as the Jnana Yajna, which he called, is far, far superior to all the other yajnas. So from the 24th verse onwards, where in the 24th verse, Lord Krishna talked about Brahmarpanam Brahmahavihi, where he said that a person who understands karmani akarma yaha pashet, it is only because of this vision of seeing everything as Atma, everything as Brahman, and therefore, really speaking, there is no doer, there is no karma that is going on. It is a mere appearance in the Anatma body mind sense complex along with the Anatma Jagat. And Brahmarpanam Brahmahavihi, that is, seeing everything, seeing all the components of the action, seeing all the karakas of every action as nothing but this consciousness Brahman, is the vision, the correct vision about the self or about the Atma, about oneself. And this is what ultimately frees me from the bondage of dukkha samsara. But then he also, for comparison, to compare this Jnana Yajnam, knowing this vision of Brahmarpanam, Brahmahavihi, Brahmagno, Brahmanautam, this vision, this understanding is what is called as the Jnana Yajna. And Krishna wanted to compare this Jnana Yajna with the background of many other yajnas which involve various types of karmas, various types of disciplines. Now, the purpose of Krishna talking about all these karmas, all these disciplinary karmas, which are done for the sake of Chitta Shuddhi, which are done for the sake of developing the yogyata for this particular understanding or this vision of Atma as a Karta, he gave in contrast many, Bahavo Yajnaha, many yajnas in the form of Shama, in the form of Dhamma, in the form of Ashtanga Yoga, all disciplines at the level of the body, mind, sense complex were given, which involve a karta doing the karma, at the same time doing that karma with the attitude of karma yoga, offering it to Bhagwan, and for the sake of Chitta Shuddhi, to get this final ultimate vision of this Brahmajnanam. What kind of Brahma Yajna it is? Understanding, getting this particular vision that aham akarta atma brahma asmi iti, for that vision, that final vision, which is the ultimate knowledge. For that vision, all these other yajnas were given as a contrast, and Krishna said ultimately, among all these yajnas that have been mentioned, Jnana Yajna is the most sacred because it is this jnanam, it is this knowledge, aham akarta bhokta atma iti सर्वं ब्रह्म सर्वं सर्वं jagadidam brahma eva brahma swarupam eva iti. This particular knowledge ultimately is the most sacred knowledge, and it burns away all the accumulated karmas and karma phalas. And he says nahi jnanena sadrisham, okay, pavitramiha vidyate. There is nothing else more sacred than this knowledge. And this knowledge was compared by Lord Krishna with a axe which completely cuts off the tree of ignorance. It uproots the tree of ignorance. He compared it to that fire which is the final ultimate purifier. And he said that this knowledge is the one which completely wipes out all the karmas and accumulated karma phalas. And therefore, Arjuna, this is the liberating knowledge. But hey, Arjuna, now, to have this knowledge, you are not yet ready for that. Therefore, in the last one or two verses before, I mean, the 20, I think in the second, third last verse, Krishna said, Yogam Atishta Uttishta. Hey Arjuna, get yourself, take yourself up to Karma Yoga, get up and fight. Therefore, now what is going to be now Arjuna's flight? All the time in the fourth chapter, Lord Krishna has praised Jnana Yoga and said that it is only this knowledge, it is only this vision of the Atma which is going to ultimately free you from your samsara. But in the end, again Lord Krishna is saying, Karma Yogam Atishta Uttishta. That means, hey Arjuna, take up to Karma Yoga and get up and fight. Now, naturally, Krishna's words, though they are very clear, Krishna has made it very clear, Lokesmin Dvividha Nishta. Krishna has made it so clear that in the entire sadhana there is no choice. Krishna has very clearly said that Karma Yoga, Chitta Shuddhi, Jnana Yoga, Jnanam, Moksha. There is absolutely no choice in this. If you have made the Purushartha Nishchaya, if you have made the choice of moksha as your goal, then the means for that end is only this. There is no other means. Now, supposing I have karma or artha or even kama as my purushartha nishchaya, then I have got many means for that. And therefore, I have a choice. I can choose whether I'll go this way or this way or this way. Supposing I have different goals, then also I may have different means for that. But here, it is very, very clearly told by Lord Krishna that if you are a mumukshu and if your goal is moksha, then there is no other means other than chitta shuddhi by karma yoga, and then exposing this intellect to the jnanam, guru, shastra, upadesha, tadvidhi pranipatena pariprashnena sevaya was told in the last chapter, in the fourth chapter. So there is no choice there. So Krishna is saying that Arjuna, you have no choice at all. If you have already decided upon moksha as your goal, then you have no choice at all. You have to go through the means of karma yoga. Therefore, yogam atishta. Karma yogam atishta uttishta. Because the choice is only in the lifestyle. The choice is whether you are going to lead a life of pravritti marga, a grahastha lifestyle, or whether you are going to lead the lifestyle of a nivritti marga or the lifestyle of a sannyasi. But for both of them, what is necessary is to go step by step from karma yoga, develop the yogyata for jnanam, and then get jnana prapti. For a person who already has done enough of karma yoga, and when there is enough of chitta shuddhi, chitta naischalyam, then this person need not go through that again, because karma yoga has served its purpose, and such a person can go to Jnana Yoga. Whether this particular preparation through Karma Yoga might have happened in this life, it might have probably happened in the earlier lives also, as Krishna is going to say later in the 6th chapter, that wherever a mumukshu has left his sadhana, when he dies in that particular life, in the future lives, he is going to take up from wherever he has left. That is what is going to be the promise of Lord Krishna in the 6th chapter. And therefore, Krishna asked Arjuna, Yogam Atishta, Karma Yogam Atishta Uttishta, He Bharata. Start fighting, get up and start doing your work. Right now, your duty is to fight this war. Do it with the attitude of Karma Yoga so that your raga dveshas are neutralized. You will learn to accept the results of your actions with Ishvara Prasada Buddhi, and slowly over a period of time, you will get the yogyata for that. And I, as your Guru, because you have already surrendered to me, I will myself give you this knowledge, this liberating knowledge, this vision of seeing yourself as Akarta, Abhokta, Atma. With all these things also, Arjuna has the same doubt again. He says, Krishna, he's not able to see how Lord Krishna is actually developing this. He is only able to see that Lord Krishna is praising Jnana Yoga. He is praising Jnanam as the highest and the final thing that releases one from samsara. At the same time, at the end of every chapter, Lord Krishna is asking Arjuna to do karma. On one hand, he says, karma binds you, karma does not give you any kind of moksha, it is only jnanam that gives you moksha. He praises jnanam, and at the same time, at the end of it, he says, Arjuna, yogam atishta uttishta. So, Arjuna has not understood what actually from where Krishna is coming. And this doubt is all the time there in his mind. And he asks the same question in the 3rd chapter, in the 4th chapter, and in the 5th chapter also. He's going to ask the same question to Krishna, which will repeat up till the 18th chapter. You see, it is said that sometimes Shishyas can make even one of the best teachers helpless, it seems. Even the best teacher can get helpless by some of the shishas, because they don't see what you are trying to say, what you're implying in your teaching. They don't see, they hold on to certain superficial things, and they go on asking the same question again. And that's why in the 18th chapter, when Krishna could no longer tell Arjuna anything more, he said, I have told you whatever I had to tell you. Yatha yogyam tatha kuru. Now, Arjuna, you think over whatever I have told you, and yatha yogyam tatha kuru. Whatever you feel you have to do, now you do. Now, whether Krishna was really helpless at that time, or he felt that now there was nothing more for him to, talk to Arjuna about it. So he says, I have done everything. I have given you everything. Do what you want. But still now, even now in the 5th chapter also, Arjuna is going to ask the same question, and the chapter starts with Arjuna's question. This chapter, the 5th chapter, is called as Karma Sannyasa, Sarva Karma Sannyasa Yoga, or Karma Sannyasa Yoga. What is the meaning of Karma Sannyasa? The person who has given up all the karma and karma phala by the knowledge of Atma, not by leaving and giving up the karma and going away. That is what Krishna is going to say now. Sannyasa here, where you live wherever you are, you leave your grahastashrama and take to a lifestyle of a sannyasi, does not mean sannyasa at all. What he says is, as I have talked to you in the 4th chapter, this knowledge, when it completely frees you from all the karmas and the karma phalas, Jnanena karma sannyasa. Jnanena sarva karma sannyasa happens. With this knowledge, all the actions, all the phalas are given up once and for all totally. But without jnanam, without this knowledge, whenever you give up something, you are giving up only partially something. There is no total giving up at all. Supposing I'm not a jnani, I'm a grahastha now, and I leave the grahastha ashrama and take up to sannyasa ashrama without having this particular knowledge, what have I done? I have exchanged the grahastha ashrama karmas for sannyasa ashrama karmas, but sarva karma sannyasa has not taken place. Therefore, a person who simply gives up karma is called a Kevala sannyasi. A Kevala sannyasi is a person who either out of laziness or who doesn't want to take up responsibility for his actions or the karma palas has left or given up what he's doing. This is called as Kevala sannyasa. No knowledge is involved here. And if such a sannyasi also wants to get moksha as his goal, he also, as a sannyasi, also has to go through the karma yoga, the karma specifically meant for sannyasa ashrama with Ishwararpana Buddhi, and he also has to make himself ready for this jnana yoga. Therefore, what Krishna is going to talk about in the 5th chapter is mere giving up of the karma. Kevala karma sannyasa is not sannyasa. The real sannyasa is when you understand this vision of aham akarta atma as it was described in the 4th chapter, then you are absolutely totally freed from all the karmas and the karma phalas. No binding from the karmas, no binding from karma phala. All sanchita karmas are gone. Agami karmas do not accrue to you. Prarabdha karma is worked out by the anatma body mind sense complex. Therefore, you are totally free from all actions and their phalas. This is real sannyasa, which is called as jnanena sarva karma sannyasa. So here in the 5th chapter, sarva karma sannyasa is a continuation of the 4th chapter where Krishna is going to talk about sannyasa as sarva karma sannyasa, not as a kevala sannyasa. So with this background, we will now go into the verses of the 5th chapter. The first verse, as usual, starts with Arjuna's question. Arjuna uvacha sannyasam karmanam Krishna punaryogam cha shamsasi yachreyahyetayorekam tanme bruhi sunishchitam. So, hey Krishna, karmanam sannyasam, giving up the karmas, karmanam sannyasam. Nyasa means giving up or tyaga. Sannyasa means samyak nyasa. That means properly or totally giving up the karmas, hey Krishna. Karmanam sannyasa, karmanam parityaga, karmanam tyaga. Hey Krishna, you say you have explained this karmanam sannyasa in the previous chapter, and then in spite of that, punaha yogam cha shamsasi. Again, you are praising this particular karma yoga, and you are asking me to, you know, get take up to karma yoga after praising the jnana yoga so much in so many verses. Now you are telling me again, punaha yogam cha samshasi, karma yogam cha shamsasi, yat shreyaha yetayoho ekam. But hey Krishna, don't confuse me. Huh? Don't tell me ye bhi chalta hai, wo bhi chalta hai. This also will do, that also will. No, I want Shreyas. I have asked for Shreyas. Therefore, hey Krishna, you tell me out of these two, out of Karma Yoga and Jnana Yoga, which is the one which is going to lead me to Shreyas. Arjuna feels that both of them are leading to different results. That is why he's asking this question. Yat Shreyaha, that which is Shreya, that which is superior, that which is going to lead me to my goal. Yetayoho ekam. Out of these two, please tell me one of them sunishchitam. Okay, don't confuse me. I am already confused. So you please tell me out of these two, karma yoga and jnana yoga, which is the better? If jnana yoga is better, why should I waste my time on karma yoga? I will directly go to jnana yoga. Why are you telling me to do karma yoga? See, it is like a person asking a question, should I join a university or should I do my PhD? Now, PhD is the goal and joining the university is the means. Shreyas is the goal, moksha is the goal, and karma yoga is the means. Then, can there be any choice between the means and ends? You tell me. There is one end and there is only one means for that end. Then, is there a choice? There is no choice. I cannot say I will choose the end, but I don't want the means. I cannot say I will choose the means, but I don't want the end. So the end is the means are incomplete without the end, and the end is not possible without the means. This Arjuna is not understanding. We have to understand it every time Lord Krishna is talking about Karma Yoga and Jnana Yoga. We have to understand that moksha is the goal and Karma Yoga, Chitta Shuddhi, and then exposing myself to Guru Shastra, Vakyas is the means. Therefore, here, Yeta Yoho means between the means and the ends, you tell me which is better. If this is what Arjuna is asking, how frustrated Lord Krishna must be feeling. But out of compassion for Arjuna, in such a situation like the war situation, Krishna again explains the same thing. What we saw in the third chapter and the fourth chapter is again explained in the fifth chapter, but with different words in a different way. So, yat shreya yetayoho ekam tan me bruhi. Bruhi means, hey Krishna, tell me, sunischitam, properly. Krishna has been telling it very, very clearly that there is no choice. The choice is only in the lifestyles, dve nishte. That is what I lead a lifestyle of a pravritta grahastha, or I lead the lifestyle of a nivritta, a person who's withdrawn, who's living by himself. But the lifestyle only is the difference, but the means and the end for both the lifestyles is the same. And that is what is going to be told in answer by Krishna again in this particular chapter. Let us go to the second verse now. Shri Bhagavanuvacha Sanyasah karma yogascha nishreyasakaravubhau tayostu karma sanyasat karma yogo vishishyate. Again, Krishna is telling him the same thing. He says that sannyasah karma yogascha. Sannyasa means what? Giving up karma by knowledge, sannyasa, and karma yoga. Sannyasa is the end or the goal, which is moksha ultimately. Sarva karma sannyasa is the swarupam of moksha. Moksha is the swarupam of sarva karma sannyasa. So sannyasa karma yogascha, both of them, sannyasa and karma yoga, nishreyasa karau ubhau. So here it is not either or, Arjuna. Both of them are necessary for moksha. Both of them will give you shreyas, nishreyasa karau ubhau. Both sannyasa as well as karma yoga, both of them, both jnanam and pravritti marga and nivritti marga, karma yoga as well as the knowledge, ultimately jnanam, both of them are going to lead you to this shreyas which you are asking for. Tayostu, but out of these two, out of the Karma Yoga and Jnana Yoga. He's not talking here about the Pravritta Nivritta lifestyle. That I can have anything. Now I am Pravritta in the Jagat doing all my work, still being a Mumukshu. I can sometimes choose to decide to, well, I'm going to give up everything and live a life of contemplation. But for me also, I have to go through these two stages. Therefore, there is no either or between Karma Yoga, Jnana Yoga. Karma Yoga first step, Jnana Yoga next step, then Moksha. There is no choice here at all. Therefore, even if you ask me out of them which is better, Tayostu, Karma Sanyasat, Karma Yogo Vishishyate. Karma Yoga is better than giving up karma. So, Arjuna, giving up karma, Kevala sannyasa is not meant for everybody. Okay, straight away a person cannot go to Jnana Yoga. Can we sit for 5 minutes? Have we tried sometime? When we do our japa, we have been doing our japa for the last so many years. But then, even then, there are times when our minds are just not there in the japa. Have we not seen that? Is it easy for us to just withdraw from all our activities and stay doing nothing at all? It is not possible for us. Why? Most of us are not prepared for that kind of a lifestyle. It is very easy to say, am I ready for such a lifestyle of giving up everything and lead a nivritta contemplative lifestyle? It is not possible for 99% of the people like us. Therefore, what Krishna is saying is, karma sannyasat karma yogaha vishishyate. Karma sannyasat, from giving up, merely giving up karma, like what you want to do, Arjuna, now you don't want to do this action of fighting the war. Therefore, you want to escape from this action. You want to go and sit in a forest and live a life of bhiksha and a sannyasa. Do you think it is possible for you? Do you think your gunas, you are so rajasic, you are not yet prepared for that? Are you going to be able to sit in one place, withdraw from all activity? Is it going to be possible for you? Your mind will not be there in this. Therefore, what he is saying is, karma sannyasat karma yogaha vishishyate. Unless I have the capacity for karma sannyasa. Here, what Krishna says is merely giving up karma. Kevala karma sannyasa. So we have to remember these two. Kevala karma sannyasa means I am not yet prepared. My mind is still full of ragadveshas. No chitta shuddhi, no chitta naishalyam. But I simply give up karma for the sake of this knowledge. That is not going to help me at all. That's what he's saying. Karma sannyasat, karma yoga vishishyate. You better be actively involved, be pravritta, be a grahastha, work out your ragadveshas, do all the work that you have to do, play your role, but with karma yoga attitude. Ishwararpana buddhya, Ishwara prasada buddhya. Do your karma, dilute your ragadveshas, dilute your karma phala abhisandhi. With all this, you will be prepared even later to live a lifestyle of withdrawal. It is possible. But right now, Arjuna, you are asking me this question. See, a teacher answers the specific question, which is a pariprashna, by the shishya, and the teacher is answering Arjuna specifically. Okay, there may be a person who is fit to live a lifestyle of karma sannyasa. Here, Krishna is not talking about such people. Krishna is answering Arjuna's specific question. Tanme bruhi, tell me, which should I choose? Should I choose to give up this war and my karma and go to the forest? Or should I do my karma? This is what Arjuna is asking. Ultimately, what is Arjuna's goal? Again, Shreyas only. So he's asking that. So, keeping the questioner, the Shishya, in mind, Krishna is telling with a no nonsense attitude, he's telling him, Karma sannyasat karma yoga vishishyate. For you, Arjuna, and consequently to most of us, karma sannyasat, compared to karma sannyasa, kevala karma sannyasa, giving up karma, karma yoga vishishyate, because living an active lifestyle of a grahastha or an active lifestyle of a pravritti, lifestyle of pravritti, doing all my actions, doing all that is meant for me to be done, it gives me an opportunity for chitta shuddhi. It gives me an opportunity for diluting my ragadveshas, and then it really cuts down lot of my sharp corners, and my intellect is prepared for this knowledge. Therefore, karma yoga vishishyate. Hey Arjuna, karma yoga definitely is superior to leaving everything and going away for the sake of this knowledge, because ultimately karma yoga will also lead you to the same moksha that a jnana yoga, that the jnana yoga leads, or a sannyasi who is pursuing jnana yoga, who's prepared for this, he also ultimately reaches the same end of moksha. Now let's go to the third verse. So, why is it so? Why karma yoga karma sannyasat vishishyate? The answer is going to be given here in the next verse. He says, Nyaya sannitya sannyasi yo nadveshti na kankshati nirdvandvo hi mahabaho sukham bandhat pramuchyate. So, Krishna calls a karma yogi as a nitya sannyasi. You don't have to leave what you're doing and lead a lifestyle of a sannyasi, because a karma yogi is a nitya sannyasi. Why is a karma yogi a nitya sannyasi? Because he has given up, he has done sannyasa of the action itself to Ishvara, okay, as this is not my karma. This is not, I am not the doer, I am not the karma. This karma is not my karma, and I'm offering this karma to the Lord. So, karma also, he has done sannyasa of the karma to the Lord. And then, karma phala also, he has done the tyaga of the karma phala by accepting Ishwar as karma phala, as Ishwara prasada. It is as though it is actually, he has given up, he has offered even the karma phala to Bhagavan. So, he has not left the karma and gone, but a karma yogi is offering, he is doing the sannyasa, tyaga of his very karma and the karma phala to Bhagavan, to the Lord, to Ishvara. Therefore, he is a nitya sannyasi. In every karma that he does, the karma itself is, given up. Given and offered. Given up means what? Offered. This is not mine. When you say given up, it is nothing to do with me. I have given it up at the feet of the Lord. And the karma phala also, I don't have any sankalpa of karma phala. Okay, idam me syat, iti sankalpa is not there. Therefore, whatever comes again is given up or offered to Ishvara. Therefore, Nyeya Saha Nitya Sannyasi. Arjuna, may you know that a karma yogi is actually a Nitya Sannyasi. Whereas a person who has left all the karma and gone, he may not really have the features or the swarupam of a sannyasi at all. Taking up to a lifestyle of sannyasa does not mean that he is a sannyasi. Secondly, karma yoga guarantees moksha through as a stepping stone, whereas sannyasa does not guarantee moksha. Just because you leave everything, leave your karma and go away for the sake of moksha, sannyasa does not guarantee moksha. Karma yoga does not deny moksha. Therefore, hey Arjuna, understand that this person is a nitya sannyasi. Why? Na dveshti na kankshati. He does not have any raga dveshas. Does not have means we all have raga dveshas. It does not mean that we can be without raga dveshas, because raga dveshas are the privileges given by Ishvara. Even Ishvara, even our gods have their own preferences, raga dveshas. Dvesha, I won't say ragas, their preferences. Whether you take their instruments, whether you take their ayudhas, whether you take their vahanas, whether you take what you offer to them in as naivedya, whether you take what you offer to them in the in this shodasha upachara puja, what do we offer? We offer what is liked by that deity. Therefore, even our gods have likes and preferences. So raga dveshas are not bad in themselves. It is necessary, it is a privilege to have ichha, to have kama. What kind of a kama? Sattvic kama, a sattvic raga. It is very necessary for me to do anything, otherwise I will not have, the capacity to do anything without desiring for something. Even Krishna had the desire when he took the avatara, dharma samsthapanarthaya. There is a sankalpa in Lord Krishna. This is a desire in Krishna. There is a preference of Krishna. When you see in so many things, he has his own preferences. So, what is meant is a karma yogi is with every karma diluting his ragadveshas and converting binding ragadveshas, strong ragadveshas, into mere preferences. It is beautiful to have preferences, isn't it? It is our preferences which define our personality. Otherwise, if every, jnani has absolutely the same, no preferences at all, no ragadveshas, nothing at all, even a jnani can get angry sometimes. A jnani can also, take a shishya to task. It is possible. But then they are not binding ragadveshas. They are preferences. And when there is a desire, it is a sattvic desire for the good of the shishya, for the good of the entire community. Even if there is an expression of anger, it is for the good of the shishya, for the growth of the shishya, for the growth of the community. Therefore, raga dvesha rahitaha means na dveshti na kankshati means it does not mean that a karma yogi should not have raga dveshas. No. When in the process of karma yoga, the karma yogi with every action is diluting his ragadveshas. He does not come under the grip of the ragadveshas. The karma yogi becomes a master of his ragadveshas, well controlled, well managed, non binding ragadveshas. This is the advantage of karma yoga. Therefore, he is a nitya sannyasi. He is nirdvandvohi mahabaho. When there are no strong desires, there are no strong hatreds, then the dvandvas are the polar opposites of life. A person does not have any kind of a misery with the polar opposites. Na dveshti, na udvijet, sukham prapya, okay? Na harsh, sorry, na prahrishet, sukham prapya, na udvijet, dukham prapya. We saw that in Sthita Prajna Lakshanas. That means the world will still continue to give you the dvandvas, the pairs of opposites. But for a karma yogi, whose with every karma the ragadveshas are getting managed, diluted, the ragadveshas no longer hold him, prompt him to do any actions. For such a person, all the polar opposites of life, the dvandvas, do not affect him. And in spite of the dvandvas, sukham, he is comfortable. There is enough titiksha in him. Bandhat pramuchate. And such a person who has diluted his ragadveshas, even in the presence of all the activity that he's doing, even in the presence of so many dvandvas in this jagat, ultimately this karma yogi is also going to be freed from bandha. So a karma yogi is never denied of moksha. Some time or the other, the karma yogi is going to go up the ladder of the sadhanas and going to get free. That is why in the second chapter, Krishna said that Swalpamapi asya dharmasya trayate mahato bhayat. Even a little bit of karma yoga you have started, it ultimately frees you from trayate. It frees you from dukkha and samsara. Therefore, Arjuna, understand that karma sannyasat karma yoga vishishyate. From compared to the giving up of karma, be a karma yogi, live an active lifestyle, and do it with the attitude of karma yoga. You will never be denied of moksha. And mere karma sannyasa, kevala karma sannyasa, does not guarantee you any moksha at all. You may be totally lost there. And then he says in the next verse, those who say that jnana yoga is different from karma yoga, those who say that pravritti marga does not give me anything, only nivritti marga will give me something, or moksha, they do not know what they are talking about. So here in the next verse he says, Sankhya yoga prithak balaha pravadanti na panditaha ekam apyasthita samyak ubhayor vindate phalam. So Sankhya yoga, Sankhya and yoga. Sankhya means this knowledge or jnanam or jnana yoga. Yoga means karma yoga. Between Sankhya yoga and karma yoga, that is between karma yoga and jnana yoga, Those people who say that these two are different, they do not know what they are talking about. They are balaha. They are immature people. Okay? Pravadanti. Balaha Sankhya Yogau Prithak iti Pravadanti. It is only immature people who don't see them as one step after the other. Those who are immature see Jnana Yoga as different from Karma Yoga. And therefore, you are also looking at it like this, Arjuna. Therefore, you are asking me for a choice. Should I take up to Karma Yoga or should I take up to Jnana Yoga? No, both Karma Yoga and Jnana Yoga are means for moksha. Karma Yoga starts one step before the Jnana Yoga. Jnana Yoga starts after the step of Karma Yoga is finished. Therefore, they are sequential sadhanas. They are not separate sadhanas. Those who think that they are separate sadhanas are immature people. They are not panditas. Na panditaha. Ekam api asthitaha. When you take up to one of them, for that you should know what you are ready for. If I am not ready for Jnana Yoga, and like you, like Arjuna, if you are not now ready for Jnana Yoga yet, because you have so much of Chitta Malam, there is Chitta Chanchalyam. Unless you have enough of Chitta Shuddhi and Chitta Naishalyam, taking up to Jnana Yoga is not going to lead you. You are only going to get further lost. Therefore, yes, Jnana Yoga will also lead you to moksha. Karma Yoga also will lead to moksha. So, both of them ultimately lead to the same end, the same goal called moksha. But, Arjuna, in a sequential manner, not independently, not separately. Karma Yoga is incomplete without Jnana Yoga. Jnana Yoga is not possible without Karma Yoga, and both of them ultimately lead to the final goal of moksha. Therefore, Ubhayorapi Vindate Phalam, a Karma Yogi also and a Jnana Yogi also ultimately get the same phalam, or that whatever is got by the Karma Yogi, ultimately the same thing is got even by the Jnana Yogi. And that is what is going to be said in the next verse, in the fifth verse. Yat Sankhyaih prapyate sthanam tadyogairapi gamyate ekam sankhyancha yogancha yaha pashyati sa pashyati. This is a very important verse of this fifth chapter. Yaha pashyati saha pashyati. The one who sees this clearly really sees it. Yaha pashyati saha pashyati. The one who sees this clearly sees it the way it has to be seen. What is that clarity in this vision? Yat Sankhyahi prapyate sthanam. Whatever a Jnana Yogi is going to get as phalam, which is moksha, tad yogairapi gamyate. Karma Yogi will also ultimately get the same phalam of moksha. Ekam Sankhyancha Yogancha. Therefore, Jnana Yoga and Karma Yoga are the ladder of the same sadhana. They are not two different sadhanas. They are sequential sadhanas. When you see the Jnana Yoga and Karma Yoga as the path of the same pursuit, the initial stage is called as Karma Yoga, the later stage is called as Jnana Yoga, and ultimately what it leads to moksha. Therefore, those who say that they are different things, you choose between this, you choose between this and that. Either you choose Jnanam, either you choose one. No, there are many people who say if you are an intellectual, choose Jnana Yoga. If you are a Rajasic person, you choose Karma Yoga. There is no choice. And what about Bhakti then? Bhakti means commitment to moksha, commitment to Ishvara, which should be there for a Karma Yogi also, in a Jnana Yogi also. Therefore, whether you are an intellectual person or an emotional person or a Rajasic person, whatever you may be, you have to go through Karma Yoga and then Jnana Yoga. And it is one continuous path. There are no two different things here. There are no two different yogas here. For the name's sake, they are mentioned as two separate things, but ultimately they are one sadhana. And the person who understands this has really seen the meaning of what I am telling you. That's what Krishna is saying. That means Arjuna has still not understood that Krishna is talking about Karma Yoga and Jnana Yoga in this way. Therefore, he's saying, Yaha Pashyati Sa Pashyati. Arjuna, you have not seen it yet. Last two chapters, I have been telling you repeatedly that they are not two different sadhanas. It is one sequential sadhana, no choice for you between the two. You have to start here and you have to go further. There is no choice for you. But then, if you are not seeing it, then you are a very immature person. Yaha pashyati, sa pashyati. And may you understand, Arjuna, in the next verse, Sanyasastu mahabaho dukkham aptumayogataha yoga yukto munir brahma nachirena digachati. So he says that without karma yoga, giving up karma or sannyasa, even kevala sannyasa or absolute sannyasa, taking up to ochre robes, it is not possible. It is just not possible. Dukkham aptum. Okay, sannyasa is very, very difficult for a person who is unprepared. Ayogataha. Ayogataha means the one who is not a karma yogi, the one who has not gone through enough of karma yoga and chitta shuddhi. Sannyasa is not an easy thing for such a person. One can take up to prematurely to sannyasa without even thinking whether I am fit for it, whether I am eligible for it or not. There are many people who take up to sannyasa and then they regret, because sannyasa is a one-way traffic. Once a grahastha or once from brahmachari ashrama or grahastha ashrama you take up to sannyasa ashrama, there is no coming back. And once you take up to sannyasa ashrama and then feel that, my God, what have I done? Then the whole sadhana is gone. And so what Krishna is saying is, sannyasaha ayogataha aptum dukham aptum ayogata. It is very, very painful. It is not easy at all for a person who has not been a karma yogi. Straight away going for sannyasa and jnana yoga is not possible. Yoga yuktaha munihi, the one who is karma yoga yuktaha, karma yogena yuktaha, is a muni, the one who has made an effort. Brahma na chirena adhigachyati. This muni, this Pananashila, this Karma Yogi, the one who is also called a Yati, this Karma Yogi will sooner or later, not very late, soon, very soon, soon enough, Brahma Adhigachati. Brahma means moksha. This Karma Yogi very soon, na chirena means not very long. How long Krishna is not going to say, it depends on us. It depends on how committed we are to Karma Yoga, how committed we are to Jnana Yoga. That commitment is ours. That is our swaprayatna. That is, our free will. But what Krishna is saying is, take up to Karma Yoga, Arjuna, and without much of a delay, very soon, you, a Karma Yogi, a Muni, will reach that very same Brahma or that moksha which a sannyasi or a jnana yogi sannyasi is trying to reach. Therefore, sannyasa is not necessary for this knowledge. That is what is being said. That too, kevala karma sannyasa. Simply giving up karma because I cannot do this karma. No, better than fighting the war, I will take sannyasa and then, try to learn the shastra. No, this kind of a sannyasa is only going to give you dukkha. It is not going to give you anything else. Next, in the 7th verse, he again praises the karma yogi by saying, Yoga yukto vishuddhatma vijitatma jitendriyaha sarva bhutatma bhutatma kurvannapi na lipyate. Very beautiful verse. Who is this Karma Yogi? Yoga Yuktaha. What has he done? Vishuddhatma. Atma here means, here Atma can mean many things in different contexts. Here Krishna says a yogi, Karma Yogi becomes Vishuddha Atma. Chitta Shuddhi, Sattva Shuddhi happens to a person. Such a person is Vishuddha Atma, the one who has enough Chitta Shuddhi. Vijitatma, the one who has mastered his karmendriyas, unnecessary activity, unnecessarily moving about here and there, unnecessary cheshta of the karmendriyas. There is a nigraha for that. So, Vijitatma means the one who has mastered his karmendriyas. Jitendriyaha, the one who masters his jnanendriyas. As a karma yogi, naturally managing the karmendriyas and jnanendriyas becomes a natural part of the karma yoga. It is included in the karma yoga, and when ragadveshas start coming down, diluted ragadveshas, when the karma yogi is slowly losing the grip that ragadveshas have over him, chitta shuddhi automatically starts, and the chitta shuddhi goes on, the sattva or the buddhi goes on getting subtler and subtler and finer, and ultimately what does he realize? This karma yogi who is a vishuddha atma, chitta shuddha, the one for whom is a chitta shuddhi has happened, vijitatma jitendriyaha, the one who is completely, who has managed his indriyas, such a person, kurvannapi na lipyate, in spite of doing all the karmas, he is not affected by either the karma or the karma phala. Why is he not affected by that? Because he is the sarva bhuta atma bhuta atma. Ultimately, who is this karma yogi? He is the akarta atma, who is the sarva bhuta atma bhuta atma. The Atma, the consciousness, the Kshetrajna, which is in every Bhuta Upadi, in every Kshetra, it is the same Atma, it is the same consciousness. This Aham Sarva Bhuta Atma Bhuta Atma Asmi, Aham Akarta Abhokta Atma Asmi, iti, this Chitta Shuddhi, Chitta Naishalyam, Karmendriya Jnanendriya Nigraham is going to make this Karma Yogi ultimately understand that he is the Akarta, Abhokta, Sarva Bhuta, Atma Bhuta, Kshetrajna, Sarva Kshetreshu iti. This knowledge ultimately he is going to get it. And for such a person, being the very Atma Surupa, understanding, seeing this vision, as understanding this vision as aham akarta atma, akarta swarupa, atma ahamasmiti, for such a person, kurvannapi na lipyate, as a karma yogi also, because of Ishwararpana buddhi, Ishwara prasada buddhi, the karma and the karma phala do not affect the karma yogi. And as the final result of this karma yoga, which is jnanam, where because of this jnanam, Sarva karma sannyasa has taken place. Jnanena sarva karma sannyasa. Aham akarta iti knowledge is so well established in this jnani that he is not affected by any karma or karma phala. So the ultimate result, kurvannapi, karmaha kurvannapi, na lipyate, does not get affected. A karma yogi also is not affected by the karma phalas or the karma. A jnana yogi, the jnanam completely insulates this jnani, and jnanena sarva karma sannyasa. Here, karma yogena sannyasa. Therefore, Krishna called him Neya Saha Nitya Sannyasi. That's what he told in the verse number 3. He said, Neya Saha Nitya Sannyasi. So, may you know this person to be a Nitya Sannyasi. So, Arjuna, there is no difference between a Karma Yogi and a Jnana Yogi. It is only the same sadhana in at different points in time. That is it. Now, right now you are not an adhikari for Jnana Yoga. You are only an adhikari for Karma Yoga. And Karma Yoga will ultimately give you the adhikaritvam for Jnana Yoga. And you, the Karma Yogi, and the Jnana Yogi, will ultimately get the same result of moksha. And from the next verse, Krishna is going to talk about the Swarupam, or how this sannyasi, Sarva Karma Sannyasi, Jnanena Sarva Karma Sannyasaha, through Karma Yoga, what is his vision in life? How does he see the whole world around him? How does he transact with the Jagat around him? Is going to be told in the next few verses. With this, we will stop here. नन्दन्तु साधका सर्वे विनश्यन्तु विदूषकाः अवस्था शाम्भवी मेस्तु प्रसन्नोऽस्तु गुरुः सदा सर्वे भवन्तु सुखिनः सर्वे सन्तु निरामयाः सर्वे भद्राणि पश्यन्तु मा कश्चित् दुःखमाप्नुयात् ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय।